All right. Good morning, everybody. We are back for episode 3 of By the Runbook with Connor and Mendy from Renata and Rising Tide. I'm Elle Copeland, also from Rising Tide, here to welcome you to another run through the release notes from Halo. This episode, I think we're covering 2.190. And so if you guys have questions, you know the drill, drop them in the chat, whether you're on LinkedIn or YouTube. We'll be able to get them all here and reply to them. Also, a little shout out to Timothy Odom from Livewire for telling us that you like these. So if you guys like these, let us know. If you've got any questions, you can drop them in the comment, or if you're shy, you can, DM us, email us, or whatever. But without further ado, what you guys are actually here for, and that is Connor and Mendy. So here they are. Boys, have fun. I'll be in the comments if you need anything. Just let me know.
Thank you, Al.
Thanks, Al.
Hey, Connor.
Hey, Mendy. How you doing, buddy?
All I'm saying is that your theme music doesn't have to be AI, but you can still make something for your company.
I could do. Do you want acoustic or electric? Maybe like a heavy metal song and like utterly punish everybody that hears it. I'll put it on the list. I actually did a video once, and one of my clients was like, "Did you play that on guitar, Con, in the intro?" I was like, "No, I ain't got time for that. It was some free music." Right then. Good day, everybody. Hope you're all doing well. We are chatting, as Elle said, 2190. I've not even really glanced at it yet. I don't know if there's anything exciting on here. There's no stars on this one, so there's nothing like that Halo deemed as like amazing. But it's the little things sometimes that we find utter joy in. So, do you want to start, Mendy, mate?
Yeah. And I think we need to bring up the screen with our screen share. There we go. Okay. Maybe make that a little bit bigger. Yeah. Thank you, Al. All right. So, I don't know. There's a couple of things that are not exciting on here. We can start from the top, maybe, or should we start from the bottom?
Let's start from the top and work our way down.
Okay, fine. So this here is not super exciting, but it is important for people who have approvers. You're able to basically specify an approver, a delegate approver. So I believe it's under your preferences, maybe.
It's added to config ticket approval processes.
Added to the agent app ticket details screen to allow the approver to choose an agent to delegate approval to. That's interesting. Oh, you're right. So when you are approving the ticket, you can then say a delegate approval at a time. So you can essentially forward the approval along. It's kind of like DocuSign when you get the signed contract and you can forward it to somebody else to sign the contract after you've reviewed it. So that's kind of cool. I could have sworn there was something here too. Hold on, this is going to drive me nuts. Approval delegation active. Yeah, so we can do delegation. This may have already been here though. Maybe that's what it is. You can do it from here as well, and then you can not do it for a certain time period. So maybe that's a feature that already existed, and they just added to it.
I don't know. We don't use it. So MSPs, really, we don't seem to build tons of approval processes. It's just really hard to maintain across loads of clients, right? Internal ITs, when we do ITSM builds, quite frequently we'll have that, but it's a very structured process. The head of finance will always approve finance requests.
Yeah, but like, what if they're out of the office?
Our debate all the time with MSPs is that, right? Is what if the business owner approves new hardware, they're on a holiday for a week and the member staff's laptop's broken? Do they just not work for a week? I don't know. It's a battle you need to pick and choose if you can maintain, basically.
Well, that's why you have delegates. But anyways, let's move on.
Exactly.
This is an interesting thing that they added for Proration. And again, it's like one of those things that you may not realize is there or what its usefulness is. It's not like super amazing or fun, but if you have a Proration line, essentially, so when you are configuring your Proration, if we were to do, if I do like based off subscription account, they added this option like a while ago where you can essentially prorate changes immediately. It's a newer option, but by now it was a while ago that they added it, right? And this allows you to basically immediately prorate or immediately invoice those prorations when they get calculated. But it doesn't help you for any proration that's been added up until then, until you change this point. So what you can do now with the setting change is if you go to the proration table down here and you add a proration in either manually or edit an existing one, they added this checkbox that allows you to go ahead and check that off and hit save, and it will change it so that it immediately shows up in the invoicing section to invoice those proration lines. So that's what
Just
that
on
release is.
just on that proration option as well, it's really important just to, I think, discuss it. So that option was added, I think it was last year. It's something I used to bang on about quite a bit. If you have an annual recurring invoice with a client and you add or they update their license in the middle of that duration, other than invoice immediately, which is another option in here, which would literally create an invoice as soon as it's changed, which is really dangerous. There's no way to invoice it. So that bottom option basically now adds it to the ready for invoicing screen with the prorated amount. And it's really only ever used in my case if it's an annual recurring, I don't know, domain name or something that you may be increasing quantity on. I don't know, mainly annual licensing.
Microsoft
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So it works really well for that. I actually had one happen the other day and I forgot I even built it that way. I was like, oh, what's going to go on with that license? And it appeared. I was like, oh yeah, I built my Halo, right? I know what I'm doing.
And it shows up over here on this prorata section on ready for invoicing.
Yeah. It's actually really good. 10 out of 10.
Cool. So again, not super like sexy or anything like that, but it is a good feature that they added in. This is kind of dumb. It's again just like another crucial thing. This is just saying right now, like 0 has a very strict API limit, and if you end up creating a bunch of invoices in draft state, you're gonna very quickly exceed that limit. And so what this is doing is it's just gonna create. Oh, sorry, it's the reverse. I'm reading it wrong. It's gonna not create the invoice in Halo if the invoice in 0 is still in draft. So Halo will actually create invoices from 0, even if it didn't come from Halo. So if you did create an invoice in 0 directly, then it would come into Halo. So this will prevent that from happening if the invoice is in draft state from 0. So I was reading that wrong. Reverse.
Added the option. So I'm going to, my test lab isn't connected to 0 and my stable isn't on this build yet. But I'm assuming it will be on the 0 integration, Mendy, on the webhook tab or incoming tab.
I don't know if I can actually open that up, but sure. Give me 1 second. We will enter the danger zone. Here's our 0 tenant on this build. What do you want to see?
Can you go? I'm assuming there's going to be a checkbox on the webhooks page. There you go, the bottom one there. Don't create invoices in draft status. The one above it. That's what's added in this version. Cool. So you have to go check it. I'd recommend. Well,
isn't that same setting?
That is what was added. That's the checkbox that was added.
Yeah, that is what's added. Yeah, that's yeah. Okay, that is what's been added.
He didn't tell you where it was added, so I was like, it must be in there.
Yeah. That makes sense.
So yeah, I'd recommend turning that on unless you do want to see drafts in your Halo. It depends really. I mean, I'll be honest with you, who's even making invoices in 0 if you have Halo? But you know.
Yeah, so I was going to ask you kind of like how often do you see MSPs creating invoices directly in the accounting package when they have Halo? Like we usually recommend everything happening from Halo and then pushing to QuickBooks or 0. Yeah,
we're the same. But I'm assuming some people do, and this is why the setting exists.
Yeah.
Added a configuration option to purchase order approval setting so that a purchase order's stock can be processed before approval. Let me try and read that in English again. A configuration option has been added to purchase order approval settings so that a purchase order's stock can be processed before approval.
You can receive the stock before the PO has been approved.
You can receive the stock before the PO has been approved.
Does that make sense? Why would you want to do that?
I'm trying to like compute myself. Like, why would you?
That's too long.
That's a great one. You'll all love it. Anyway, next.
Grandchild lookup for Dynamics 365. This is classic. There was a time when it would have just dump a guide link, and then the guide link would go page not found. In this case, thankfully, there is an actual guide page.
Well, it links to the entire 365
Doesn't
Dynamics
really tell you
guide.
what that setting is for.
Yeah. I'm sure if you use Dynamics 365 and you know what these words mean, you will enjoy this new feature. I don't have a single client, I don't think.
I don't have a client on Dynamics either.
No. But if you are, then yeah, you've now got the option for grandchild lookups. Yeah, we're hitting the hard-hitting
We
facts
love,
today,
we
man.
love this feature. Really, moving on.
Where's the fun?
This is cool. This is the one that we were talking about earlier, Connor. Where
Mm.
now, if you're inside of an action, let me just close out some of my other tabs here for a moment. If we're inside of an action, so there has always been, and you may or may not already know this. Hopefully you do, because it's pretty critical. But within an action, you can tie system use cases to the action they were doing, right? So here, one of the actions that you can do that our system is issue item, which is essentially wrong one, issue items, which will essentially allow you to pop up the issue item box if you use it, and that happens upon saving the action or clicking it if it's a quick action. What they added was this dropdown where we can say which item are we going to add, so it automatically adds that item to the ticket without having the technician to choose or having to choose that item. It just automatically does it upon that action being saved. When you do that, that's it. That's what was added to that feature in that release, which is kind of cool. And
just on that, the importance of this. I did a video about this 2 years ago on this. The thing that Halo cannot do is fixed fee tickets. You can't say this ticket is $100, right? My solution to that years ago, or workaround, was, well, we can issue a product. The problem is for an engineer to go and pick from a list of 1,000 items, it didn't work. So we built a little Runbook. You have a drop-down field, it drags the item in. Now we have field groups, actually, and this as well. It opens the doors to actually having fixed fee tickets to be actually quite easy to maintain and manage as an engineer. Which, yeah, I kind of like this, actually. It's good. Positive.
The only thing I'll call out that we just found out today, credits to Jason on my team who discovered it, is that if you tried using this as a quick action, this item will not be applied even if you set it. It'll prompt to select an item still. So there seems to be a bug with that. We have to get that reported. But yeah, that's just one thing to look out for when you're trying to do it as quick action. So if you are doing an automation or backend, then we want to see, you probably will need to do like a Runbook or something like that. What's next? Ticket ID variables been added, PDF template variables. I don't know, kind of boring. Add ability to duplicate tabs and using multi-tab mode.
See, you say boring, actually. I'm going to disagree with you there on that one.
This one?
I think the ticket ID being added to items and products issued on tickets is really important, because before you could have all these items issued but have no trace of where they came from. Whereas now, we issued these 12 patch cables for this ticket ID. So I think actually if you are doing a lot of issuing of items, this is really useful to have. So
this is doing it based off of, to be clear, what's this talking about?
Maybe you
Let me show you. If we go to PDF templates.
I could be wrong on that, actually.
If we go to PDF templates and we edit the PDF template for tickets specifically, within the ticket PDF template, there's this items issued table, right? Prior to this, we cannot use variables from a ticket that are over here. We can only use item variables. We can't use ticket variables. And so now, like the ticket ID, there's no way to add that into the table that appeared for the issued items, even though the PDF was for that ticket. So we'd have to either put the ticket variables on the main page outside of that table, or we'd have to include a report that we can then reference potentially, something like that. Now they've added this variable ticket ID to that table that we can use there.
Yes, and I was chatting utter garbage because you can... Where did you define that? You code before under items, general account settings, issued item description, you could define a full ID in there. Yeah, fine. Not as cool then. You win.
Not as cool.
Not as cool.
How many do you use the tabs, Connor? The Halo tabs?
So we're building a new sandbox at the minute, and that sandbox is running the latest version. Our stable isn't. So I started using the tabs because I was doing like 6 things in Halo, right? I then pressed the refresh button in my browser, and it closed all the tabs, and I nearly had an aneurysm. So I then emailed Halo and said, I was like in tab section of like tabs within tabs, right? Because my browser has tabs and Halo had tabs. Yeah. And then the fact it cleared the state when I refreshed the page, I could have cried because I had it all set up nicely. You also can't drag and drop them to organize them. So for me, I think you just get lost is the reality of it. Like, I think
So
you
you
just get
can't
lost.
You can't do drag and drop.
You
to, like,
can't.
to
If you
move them,
refresh
to
your
reorganize
page,
them.
it
But if I
yeets
refresh the
them.
page, they're all here.
Yours stayed. See, mine
course.
didn't.
It wasn't doing that initially. I don't know when the last time
Okay.
you tried this was. It didn't do that initially. I had a conversation with them about it, and then after that, it was fixed. I don't know if it's related
Cool.
to the conversation I had with them about it or not, but
I'd
it is
imagine
now
so.
fixed.
I was doing it like a week or so ago, so maybe it's been a recent fix. But yeah, I don't know. Do we need tabs inside it? I don't know. I mean, you do get
I
a lot of
do
browser
like it.
tabs.
So
Yeah.
let's talk about where to turn this on. This is part of the new UI within Halo that came through, and I don't even know like which version introduced the tabs, or if we talked about that before. But under advanced settings, if we go down to advanced settings and we look at the UI here, so we have the UI style 2025 is the new UI, and then we've got tab display here, which we can show multiple Halo tabs per browser tab. The only reason why I like it is because right now we get lost in browser tabs. Like, it's going to happen. And I still prefer, like, there's a case of when I use a browser tab and I separate out my Halo tabs, and there's a case where I keep my tabs of Halo together in one browser tab. It's usually like when I'm jumping between tickets, but I'm working on the same kind of thing. So if I'm like looking through tickets or projects or whatever, I'm in one browser tab and everything is contained there. The point is, like, I'm closing those Halo tabs once I'm done and opening up new ones, so it's keeping my work contained, and then it's allowing me to stay organized within that one browser tab instead of jumping all over the place. If I'm doing configuration, I have a different Halo browser tab for that configuration, and again, I have Halo tabs inside of that. So I'm not going to try to like replace all of my browser tabs. If you're like anyone in the world, as far as I know, has hundreds of browser tabs open on their computer nowadays, right? I'm not going to try to replicate that inside of Halo.
Yeah, see, I'm very, very, I don't know, strict to my browser tabs. Like, Robbie and Jacob send me over the edge because they've run like 50 tabs at once. I'm like, how do you know where things are? I'm like, I'll have 3 and I'll work in those 3, then I close it off. But that's, I don't know, maybe it comes with Inbox 0. It's my whole, I don't know, tidy tab, tidy mind. There you go. That's the way I approach it. But yeah, I don't know. We'll see. I'm sure we'll turn it on at some point and then I'll hate my life. But it is what it is.
Connor, do you ever search your tabs?
No.
Have you ever pressed Control-Shift-A on your keyboard when you have your browser
Never.
open? You want to do it now?
I'm not sure I do.
I want to see your live reaction if you've ever seen the screen before.
Control-Shift-A?
Yeah. On a browser.
Okay. I've never done that.
Is it useful? Is it going to help you? Or not
Yeah,
really, because you don't have a lot of tabs anyways.
I have 6 tabs, Mendy.
It happens to be right now I have 4 tabs because my computer just recently updated and rebooted.
There you go.
But normally that window is like hundreds of tabs, and it's really helpful because it tells you like when the last tab, like when you visited the last tab. So if I have a ticket number open, I search the ticket number and I can like, oh, this is open an hour ago. This is one I probably opened originally with all my notes in. I can go to that tab with my notes or whatever. Anyways, moving back to the release notes.
I want to be sick. So a setting has been added to configuration appointments so that the subject for appointments can be read-only for appointments linked to tickets, projects, and opportunities. Oh.
Is that so that it sticks to the ticket subject?
Well,
You can't change the appointment subject name. It sticks to the ticket subject.
Well, it says it's read-only, so I assume, yeah, I don't know. That's the problem you guys have.
It's locked to whatever the subject is, right?
Yeah.
So
I really deemed it as a problem.
Appointments, general settings. It's probably not like crazy.
Config appointments.
Is it
read only?
I could just search for read only.
That's what I'm thinking.
No, it's not there. Subject.
A set has been added, so that should. Oh, go to an appointment type for me.
Is it an appointments type?
I don't know. I'm guessing.
No.
If I'm looking at your screen, yeah, I've got like 4 Halos open next to me.
Oh, he's looking at for appointments and calendar integration. No, it's not it.
That's that. I mean, it's usually at the
bottom.
bottom.
Over at ticket type level. It's ticket type. No, it's not. That can't be. Can it be ticket? It's probably ticket type. No. Allow editing the follow-up appointment subject. What is that? Appointment subjects. Here, this is it.
Yes.
It's nice that they, call the setting the same exact name that they put in the release note, but whatever.
That would be too easy, Mendy. That would
Then
be
we wouldn't
too
have to do
easy.
these calls or whatever.
Yeah. So yeah, that's it basically. It's a global setting. You can either edit or you can't edit the subject of an appointment. I generally don't know the last time I ever changed an appointment subject, but
I don't think I ever have either.
yeah, but if you have a problem with people doing that, and yeah, you click the box. What a time to be alive. Added the option to remove the edit button on articles.
I just skipped that.
If using drafts. Yeah, that's kind of a fact in it. Okay, brilliant. When creating an invoice from a sales order, the invoice should be linked to the same contract that the sales order line is linked to. It's also possible to edit the contract linked to an invoice line on existing invoices. I think we raised this actually. If I'm being honest, I think this was a Connor problem. I think it's because you could make multiple contracts from a single sales order, and it had a hard time understanding what the line item is linked to or something. I can't exactly remember the problem I was having now, but it's fixed.
Yeah, that's cool. Does that do that for recurring invoices as well, or just invoices? Like if you create a recurring invoice from a sales order line, does that link it to the contract on that sales order, or just from
Yeah,
a sales order line?
so they changed that ages ago. So contracts are linked. So contracts used to be linked at the invoice level. It used to be an invoice header, right? And they changed a while ago that whenever you link a contract now, it's based on the invoice line itself, which is great. They've added though now that you can. I don't know if it's in this. Maybe it's actually in this build. Let me go check. Tim added for me the ability to go and change what contract an invoice line is linked to. So, for example, so for instance, we invoice for Halo licenses and Halo consultancy, but the clients have 2 contracts. When we make a single invoice, it used to be really hard or was impossible to tell which invoice, what contract the line was linked to. Because I look at, gross margin across my licenses versus my consultancy, I needed to know the split. What I couldn't do, though, is go and backdate it when this change come in. Now, Tim said he added it for me. I don't know what version he did it in. We'll be tracking it somewhere. But we should be able to edit a line item. I'm checking as well myself.
But I'm on the latest version.
Okay, I've got it. If you edit a generated invoice, sorry, Mendy.
Oh, okay. How's that help me?
So if you merge or had merged invoices in the past, now at the bottom, you can now change the contract that line item links to.
So if you have like multiple recurring invoices generating a single invoice together.
Yeah.
So each of the recurring invoice contracts will appear on their respective lines.
Yeah. So it does work. Like it works that way now, right? They changed the architecture a while ago, so it does work that way. But I needed to backdate some where it hadn't done that for reporting, and I couldn't do it. So Tim added that in now, which is amazing. So if you really want to get granular with your financial reporting, stuff like this is really really important to be conscious of, because it can really, change the way your numbers look. So yeah, bit of a huge setting for me, that one. But I am
still like, so you do recommend like having multiple recurring invoices per contract type?
No, I have multiple contracts for the same client.
I'm saying, and so therefore multiple recurring invoices.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we don't do that for the most part. We try to keep it simple. We can have more than one contract, but even if we do that, we would just do one recurring invoice.
So we don't for revenue. So I look at the gross margin across our licenses we sell, for instance, of Halo or other products. So we look at the gross margin of what is the support factor of that, what is the revenue from that, what is the net profit of that, and tie that all into contract profitability siloed for that client. And then we pull in consultancy as a separate bucket, basically. Rather than generalize.
Like we did because you can put custom fields on here, right? So we did
there's many ways,
dynamic to pull a contract per line on the recurring invoice. That way we don't have to manage like multiple schedules and everything else that's like happening on there. That's
I say to a lot of people, right, is you can report on pretty much anything you want. That's the flexibility of Halo.
As long as you know how to tie the data together.
Yeah, we've just said this is the way we do it because our reporting's built around this way. But I remember chatting with Tech Pulse a while ago about the way they were building billing templates, and I was like, you can always, it's not the way we do it, but there's always a way you can get the data out of Halo. It just might be easier one way than another, but the same outcomes are there. So cool, that's nice. Added a setting to prevent the device type from being updated. Sorry, I can't read. Added a setting to prevent the device type being updated on existing device when important to RMM.
Yeah, so if you've got an asset that was imported from an integration like Aavik, for example, or whatever, that discovered a computer, and then ConnectWise RMM brings that same computer in, it won't change the device type. It won't change
Oh,
the
I didn't
asset.
know it did. Okay, interesting.
Certain integrations will do it, and some integrations will have a checkbox to say don't update the type when you import if it's already exists, right? Like that's a flag you have to set on the integration. And so it looks like they just added that flag to the ConnectWise RMM integration.
So if you do use it, you might want to check that box.
Yeah.
What have we got next? Anything exciting? I'm getting a bit bored of this.
Yeah, I know. We should just jump.
Hanging.
Oh, this is interesting. It's not exciting, but it's interesting to talk about. This is basically QuickBooks API has a bug where in this circumstance where creating an item will fail. So you incorrectly didn't have the account codes or whatever, and the item failed to create in QuickBooks. The API would throw the error message, but it would still create the item in QuickBooks, even though it fails. And then the moment you're like, oh shoot, I forgot to set my account code. You go set the account code and try to save it again. It will still fail because now you have a duplicate item name. And that basically breaks everything. And now you have to change the name, and you have two, and then it just gets very messy after that. So Halo tried working with Intuit, and they weren't getting a response quick enough or whatever. And so we had to come up with creative. Tim and I went back and forth on emails about this multiple ways, and for a long time to find a creative way that we can basically fix this issue from happening. And we determined that seeing if that name exists, if the Halo item isn't linked to a QuickBooks item, but the exact same name of that item is inside of QuickBooks already, it'll just link the two and then push the change to the QuickBooks item that exists. So that was a creative solution that we did because Intuit's API broke and we couldn't wait on them to fix it.
It's not elegant, but it certainly kind of solves the problem, right?
Yeah.
It is what it is a reality on that one. I've jumped down quite a bit, not going to lie. Added ticket type as a ticket rule outcome.
That's interesting.
That is super useful, is what that is. Just having the control to be able to do that. I like that.
I think previously they were trying to use templates to change the ticket type or something, but now you can't do that.
I think you can still do that.
I think templates are now split based off ticket type as a key, and it won't apply the template to the wrong ticket type if it doesn't match or something.
Have they done that now? We requested that. It was kind of a whole problem we had.
I think so. Yes.
Okay. So just what Mendy's saying there is one of the problems we have is mainly around projects, really. You might end up start building quite a lot of templates for different types of projects, right? So you may have infrastructure projects or migration projects. And one of the problems we had is you want to select the template when you're building it out. But if you end up with 40 templates, you don't have the massive long scrolling list. And it never used to technically be tied to the ticket type. What we asked for a while ago is, no, it did do that. We wanted it on dynamic lookup. Yeah, if you select a project, it will only show you templates from project ticket types. If you select infrastructure, it will only show you templates from infrastructure projects. The problem is if you have ticket type on an action and you change the ticket type, the templates don't update according with it, which may not be fixed. I don't know. It's one of those it is what it is problems. Okay, interesting. I'm just checking that in settings now. Config. Where have we gone?
So you're talking about ticket rules, right? If we create a rule here, we can set an outcome where we can set other outcomes, which are over here. Where the heck did they go?
The bottom?
Oh, here. I was looking for this kind of table. I'm like, where did it go? It's right here.
Yeah.
Other outcomes can be ticket type now. Back in types. There we go. Ticket type. And we can set that to be.
You know what's annoying? Why is it not up a bit in the drop downs of all the fields?
I don't know why they split some of these in drop downs and some of these not on drop downs. I would just get rid of all the drop downs and just set the outcome. That's what I would do. That would be you want to know what else is annoying? Is criteria. When are they going to add groups here? Groups of criteria to the rules.
Rather than it being all or none, basically. Everything has to be met. Yeah, no, I'd like that as well. It's super annoying. Things like notifications and stuff, right? You've got to clone and end up with loads of them for the same thing because there's a slight nuance. like, can't it just be if one of these things matches, can that not trigger the thing? No, I share the disdain on that one, sir.
But they did add it into a couple other places, so maybe that's just they're getting around to it. Right now, if we like edit an action here, we can set restrictions. This is now based off groups, so we can say, what do you want to do? You want to add a group or individual? And so you can add a group, and then basically every condition in this group needs to be met, or any one group needs to be met, essentially.
But this is also a one or more need to be met right here, which is good. Not everything must absolutely meet, which is
within the group, everything has to be met, but the groups are like an or, right?
Yeah.
So it's or concatenated or whatever, or joined ands. If that makes sense.
Yeah, basically,
So they're adding that there. They've added it to somewhere else too, but I don't remember where. But yeah, maybe they'll get to it eventually. I don't know.
I've not raised it as a problem. It's like we just deal with it, right? So I'm not tracking it, but yeah, they'll get there. They always get there. We've learned that over the 3 years. We're nearly 4 Mendy now. It comes eventually. Team custom fields can be shown in the details tab. Team custom fields. Team custom fields? Team.
Yeah. So if you're going to configuration, custom objects, custom fields, and you go build a team custom field, which doesn't exist. Here it is.
These I've never built a team custom field ever.
The most arbitrary one I've done is like organization. Top level, I asked for top level custom field for a while, and they're like, no, it's too complicated. But this is actually gonna be really good. Because it's grouping your clients, and then it
was it passed down?
Probably not.
Okay.
Probably not. Because why would it? It's Halo.
Yeah. If it filtered down, that would be insane. But it will come. The positivity is it will get to there.
And then the tab here just shows you can do like by default it's custom fields, right?
Yeah.
So now you can do it on details.
Yeah,
which
fine.
is cool. Like even agents, right?
Team though, like agents is great. I love agents. Yeah, we've used it a few times actually.
Agent.
Right? Team.
What would you have? What would you have as a custom field on a team? I don't know.
No idea. I've never done one ever. I don't even know. I don't even know why. I don't ever really even look at a team as a reality of it. Like it's, I don't know.
I mean,
if you need it
all the time, but yeah,
do it.
Depends on size, I guess. Moving on.
A new ticket type permission relating to attachments and action history. Added new ticket type permissions. Okay.
Well, this is a fairly complicated release note.
It is now possible to restrict roles and agents to the following: view action history, upload attachments, view attachments, download attachments, edit attachments. These restrictions can be applied per role or by agent. Okay. I mean, more control is better than no control. Don't think I really have a use for it right now, but sure. It's the thing.
This is cool. This is something useful for projects. If you're looking at like a ticket with a bunch of child tickets, you can expand it to full screen.
Yes, I like that.
Manage that. Not much there. Add any single allows service to belong to multiple service categories. I don't care about that. Added the new setting to show if sales order line is completed. Okay, cool. It just has a checkbox in the sales order line when all the actions are done. And you can manually mark it completed as well. So when you open up the sales order, you know like what has to happen next on that sales order.
I think that's really important, especially if you're using the drop-down menu, because you really cannot tell if you're using the menu what state it's at. Whereas when it's not the drop-down, you can kind of see because the buttons are there or not. So I kind of like that. I hope it looks sexy.
It does. It's not bad. It's not bad. If we just go to, let me just go show you sales order. We're going to pick any sales order here. And so theoretically speaking, hold on one second. Let me just change some stuff here.
So just quickly, by the way, while Mendy's doing this, so Mendy runs beta in his production build. And
not my production instance, by the way, but I do run beta in my production.
So Mendy plays with a lot of these things before they come out. Renada no longer does that. Renada now runs stable in our production environment for obvious reasons. So yeah, that's how Mendy knows a lot of this stuff more than us. We used to keep really on top of these, and then we didn't. Hence this lovely new series you've got. Because I started to drift out of it because there's just so much to keep up with, right? But yeah, I don't run beta anymore in prod.
I'm actually just like going through turning on a bunch of stuff here. But anyways, let's go back to the point. Okay, so if I refresh this page now, we can see this is the drop down that Connor was talking about. And I don't actually have to do all these actions, even though if I did them all, they would then be marked complete, I could just say, you know what, I've already done it. And by marking it as complete, it's now got this little check icon. It's not bad.
I like that. That's really,
when
it's
you
really
open
important.
it up, you can tell fairly quickly, you know, what's been done. And so
It's
you
cool.
know you've got to do the last two, right?
I like it. I'm all for that.
Very cool.
I can get behind that. Added additional rule types to webhook and runbook event triggers. No other notes.
No other notes. Yeah.
Brilliant.
Oh, this is cool.
What we're looking at.
It's only cool because I use SAML 2.0 for MSP Geek.
You do.
Yeah. So we can have it automatically create the user. Interesting. Moving on. Execution mode. What is that? Is that production versus whatever the other word is?
It's quite clear, Mendy. They've added a runbook execution mode setting, and if you click the link,
it takes you to ITSM. Let's see if it mentions execution mode. Oh, look at that.
Are you searching for the word?
Oh, this is parallel versus. Yeah, I just searched for the word. This is parallel versus
in series. Yeah,
that's what it was. Yeah, that's an interesting feature. So you can have it like trigger multiple times and essentially run unaware of each other, or you can, if they need to be aware of each other, you need to make sure the first one completes first. It'll essentially queue up and then run one after the other. Wow, that's hard to say. Run one after the other.
It's to increase speed, right? Is the long and short of it. That's what this is for.
I think it's actually. I think the default mode was always parallel. And so it doesn't increase speed. It actually gives you more control of ensuring that you're not going to have conflicting data. I don't know. It could be I'm wrong there, but I'm fairly sure that it used to be parallel mode by default, and now it's given us the ability to run in series so that we can queue up and make sure that the first run has completed, and we're not going to run into like duplicate key constraints or things like that.
I've never really noticed it being like that, but then I don't think I've ever really had that as a problem.
How often do you like trigger the same runbook over and over again?
Yeah, that's it. We don't, right? Like it, but very much like one time.
I could be wrong. It could be it was always series, and then it switched. I don't know.
Who knows? Regardless, you have the option now. There we go. Look, that's the answer. Anything else fun? Anything jumping out? I know we've got plenty of time.
There's a lot of stuff here.
Yeah, a lot of boring stuff, though, isn't it?
And it's this is not fun, but is broken.
When using a calendar integration, additional agents will now be added as attendees when an appointment is created from a ticket.
Oh, is that on this one? Yeah, it's right here.
There is a problem we're seeing at the minute, though.
Okay, this is why I got confused when I just read this, because they in the like maybe 204 or another later release, they made it optional, so you can actually check to see if you want to add additional agents automatically. Versus this one is just doing it automatically.
I need to raise this to Halo, but it's actually really annoying at the minute because it will add the additional agent after you've done the action and then put the ticket status back into client updated again because a calendar entry is hit.
Oh my God.
So we're using
that entire thing is a bug. The webhook updates.
Yeah, it is. Yeah,
what you're talking about, that should not be flagged as a user update. I've sent it to them 3 times. It's so annoying.
If anyone from Halo is watching, we're coming for you. Yes. I think that is doing the same thing for that as well. I mean, it definitely will be. Every webhook event that it seems to trigger now just updates the ticket back to client updated. You're like, oh, that was quick. Oh, no, it's just me. We chatted about it yesterday. How do we fix this? And we was all like, we probably can't, can we? Add the ability to allow attachment uploads when conversing with a virtual agent. Okay. Oh, is this why they've put in the restrictions now for attachment types?
They've always had that, I think, depending on what you're talking about.
No, in security now, you can define what attachments you allow your Halo to use.
I'm pretty sure that was always there. It may not have been in security, but it was under tickets advanced settings or something like that. There was always an attachment extension filter. It's been around for a while, unless I just made up that. Like, if it's there, it's been there for a while. Hold on 1 second. I'll check. I need to. Yeah, allowed file extensions. It's under tickets general settings. It's always been there. Unless security is a different.
Yeah, if you go to the
Here.
security, so allow. Okay, that's really curious then.
What's in security? Does it look the same?
Yeah, basically.
It's always been there.
I didn't know that was there. The security setting. What does security setting
There
say?
is attachment malware. There's a bunch of stuff in security that's cool. They've added.
Yeah, you need to be really careful with the attachment stuff though. Like, make sure you allow PDF, else it won't be able to make a PDF internally. Like, we found that out literally the other day.
Do attachment malware scanning.
Yep. You might just want to tell people this, by the way, since we're here. If you scroll to the very top quickly, Mendy, if you use Halo and you're watching the stream, I recommend that you turn on this top admin notification setting. I kind of struggle what to recommend. Yeah, I mean, the problem with critical is if you have runbooks or like integrations with all, it's persistently there. It's kind of like a calculated risk, I guess. Like we have a few integrations that are all permissions because we're heathens, and Halo shouts at us. Yeah, exactly, and that will show as a critical error all the time. I think.
No, it's medium severity. We could just switch that to critical, and that should be fine.
Going to validate my own Halo right now. Okay, fine. Oh no, I've got a critical again. Why have I got a critical?
There's some other thing that you're missing.
Oh, Runbook security. That's what it is.
This is the banner that Connor's talking about that'll show up. And if you click into it, it'll tell you like what's there. Now I'm using right now critical and medium. I can switch this to only critical essentially. So this I can see is fine. This is low severity. This is low severity. This is medium because I'm just looking at the icon on the header. This is fine. This is medium. This is fine. This is fine. Here's medium. And so I really shouldn't have anything showing up probably. And then if I go back to my homepage, it's gone. Right? So having it set to critical only will only flag critical will only flag critical issues.
Yeah, so we've got a few read in our prod because we've got a runbook that starts from a URL trigger. And there's no authentication on it. But it's doing like it's not a risk for us because like it's like what it's doing is rubbish. Do you know what I mean? Like it's not. So it's just we need to. It depends if the provider can, actually handle doing that properly. We've got. I don't know what the crap are. What we've been doing here.
What were we looking here? Oh, we're looking at attachment stuff, file type restriction. Yeah, it's the exact same setting here.
Fine. I've seen it in here pop up recently, so that's when we've configured it because it's in here. Never noticed it in Ticket General before.
It's hard to like go through all the settings in all the other places, but like security is gonna be the one that you want to pay attention to.
Exactly.
Yeah. What else?
Cool. Added a new setting to allow services to belong to multiple service categories. Okay, so if you use the self-service portal and you have the service catalog in there, I'm assuming you could have the same service show up in multiple views, basically. If you care about that, go turn that on. If not, then it is what it is. A letter M or F will show next to recurring invoice quantities when applicable to denote that the line quantity is the minimum.
Oh, I know what you're looking at.
Okay.
Where was that?
Just
indicating this one right here, letter MF. Yeah.
Do you want to chat about the session ID cookie validation?
Not really, no. we could just leave that off for right now until they fix it. They added column profiles to quote sales orders, invoices, and recurring invoices. That's kind of nice. It's a little bit janky right now, but it'll just be worked on and improved. Cool.
So I think you'll share the same sentiment as me. Obviously, me and Mendy will only ever use the ideas.halopsa.com for feature requests and ideas. We'd never ever go direct. Ever. Never would do that. But the important thing for us to understand, I think, is I think we probably both pick our battles. So getting something like this added in is massive, right? Like there's a big code change, there's loads of things that need to happen, and we very much understand, okay, it will come at some point. Like getting an adjustment made to Halo is much easier for us to recommend, knowing that there's not a whole rework of a code base, right? So like if it's like, oh, it'd be really good if we could add a column filter in or something, we know that's more likely to get added in than, hey, could you just redo how you render quotes in an iframe? Like there's a big change there. So I like it when like core components get added in, like column profiles to invoices now, because I'm like, oh, sweet. I could go and sweet talk somebody to get another column in there that's missing, and potentially get it added in through ideas.halopsa.com.
Obviously.
Always. So yeah, it's really cool. I like seeing stuff like that. I'm a bit anal as well. I really like things to be really clean and tidy. So they've added recently, I don't know what version it came in, we're probably jumping ahead, but on the recurring invoices now, they added in that by default, it didn't show you, or you could toggle hide inactive, but now there's a setting where you can by default hide inactive as well. I'm not sure what version that came in, but it was, yeah, just a massive change for me just to help my tiny brain. There's a setting somewhere you can turn it on now, Mendy. So by default, inactive are hidden.
Is that going to be under recurring invoices? Probably under billing. Recurring invoices.
Is it bad that I now go to Robbie's release note app instead of searching Halo's release notes to try and figure it out? I would imagine it would be in there.
1, 2, 3. Here it is. Hide recurring invoices by default. See, I don't even look at release notes to figure it out. If you understand like where things would land, I go there first. And then when I'm proven right, I'm like, oh, good. Halo's making decisions that make sense. If I'm proven wrong and I have to go find it, and it's like, okay, what did they do here and why?
Yeah. Yeah, we can share Robbie's release note app. I'll put it in the chat. I don't know how to do this. I'm doing a thing. Can't post messages. We'll give it a go. Look at this.
You can.
HaloReleases.remy.dev. So slight tangent, I suppose. The reason Robbie built this is for one specific reason. The release note app tracks the ticket ID. And what we do in our production is we track the IDs of like feature requests and bugs. Now in Halo's own release notes, you can't actually search by ID. And it was sending my tiny brain over the edge. So the whole reason Robbie built this little lightweight app is so we can actually just search the ID of it and then by nature track it. So that is the reason this exists. It's free. It's just Halo's release notes that we just put into a different front end and just have a better search is the long and short of it. Don't know why we did this and Halo and add in ID, but again, we pick our battles.
Yeah, because now we can just take an ID number, put it in here essentially, and it pulls up that specific thing with all the names and everything like that they've put in there. Something else that Robbie added in, I don't know why I'm talking about it, is that within Halo you've got the release notes over here, show release details, but you also have what's new, and the release details don't include the what's new. What's new is like what's coming, what's been built but not yet put into a build yet. It hasn't been associated to necessarily a release at this time, and so what we have is Robbie's been taking this and this stuff as well. And so what you see here, we've got the, where was it? Oh, coming soon section over here, which will show those things that are coming soon that may not be assigned to an actual release at this time. So you can search for ticket numbers that may not have been on the release note yet. You were given by dev, and you know if it's either a bug fix or a new feature you asked for, you can search for that here and see, has it been compiled yet? Is it in testing or whatever? If it's not, even though it's not assigned to release yet, you can still see it here.
It's good. It's not a Renada product. It's a Robbie product. It's a Robbie evening because he's got all the spare time in the world. What else have we got then? Anything else?
I think it's time to move on. The grouping, by the way, of those restrictions are actually inside of this release. Hey, El, welcome back.
Hi. I'm sorry. Were you still working?
Just a little bit.
Always working.
You're like, let's move on. And I looked at the clock and I was like, there's 10 minutes left, and Mendy's going to try to fit 2.192 in 10 minutes. I just had a feeling.
Just something fun.
Just something fun.
They've added a statistics tab for Runbooks to track metrics, Mendy.
I know. Did you not know that?
We did know that. Have you seen it? It's on 190. Have you seen it?
No. I have seen it, but
it's not overly useful, but it's there.
And you can override the metrics, I'm pretty sure, right?
I don't know. I know the data's all in a table, obviously.
Here, yeah. Here, statistics. Oh, never mind.
Yeah, it's like a thing.
Yeah, these are it. Cool.
Actually, is it stored in a table? I feel like it's not in a table.
You think it's calculated?
I think it's calculated. I think that was my disdain with it. I could be wrong. I've been wrong many times before, but I feel it's not in it. Robbie will pipe up somewhere because he'll know all about this. I know he's chatting somewhere. Robbie, if you're around,
page and logs tab on each run.
Yeah, I feel it's not in the database. If anyone knows watching, by the way, please feel to let me know. I just feel like it's not stored, but I could be wrong.
I mean, let's see what this says.
Log tab.
They have to be in a table if they're here.
Yeah.
Has to be pulling it from somewhere. Anyways.
Well, there's some stuff they do which isn't in the schema, right? Like prepay, for instance. Like the values in prepay remaining is not.
But that's a calculated value. That's not a running history.
Yeah. Is this a running? Oh, okay. Then maybe it is. Then maybe it is. I don't know what the table is. I've absolutely no idea. If it is there, I don't know. I don't know anymore. I don't know what I don't know. I've lost my mind. Halo's like just ruined my brain over the 3 years of working with it.
Wrong one, right here. Statist. Yeah. Runbook. No. Log. It's got to be phone call log, right? Like, what else would it be? I don't know where it is or what it's going to be called. Probably not here. Maybe it's not a table.
It's making me want to cry now.
Anyways, what's something fun we can talk about, Connor? It's in the newer version.
Oh, fun. You mean like added the change history tab to customers and sites? Yeah, baby. Get featured. It is super important, by the way. Anyone watching that, it's like deadly serious stuff. I don't want to move to 2.192. Like I'm Pax8 is now multi-tenanted. That's a thing. We've had a few requests for that over the years, actually. So it's actually kind of nice to have that in Halo now. I can get behind that. Not tested it. There was an issue, but I believe that's now fixed, which is good.
Yeah, I'm going to call out one thing. It's unstable. I'm skipping a bunch of versions. I'm still going to call it out. Sorry. Improves project loading efficiency in the ready for invoicing section. This is critical.
What version are you on that? You're in the future to me, my guy. Are you in 2.196?
2.196. It's unstable. So people watching right now can go use this.
Not everybody.
Billing, general settings, go to project loading method and calculate it based off a stored method, and then click this button. It'll basically populate the project ID per action, per task, subtask, whatever. It doesn't matter how deep you are. The project ID, the real project ID, will be set on each individual action under the A project ID property or column. And that makes invoicing projects so much faster because it's not calculating it. Like, it's not looping through all of your grandchildren to find where your labor is. It also makes reporting project time so much better because you don't need to figure out and calculate the project ID. It's literally a project ID on the actions table. So I skipped. Well, sorry.
FX Ref 2, baby. We know what the parent ID is.
FX Ref 2 only goes one level up.
It does. It does. Loop. Yep. It's, and that's why we recommend never have children of children or grandchild, because it's painful. The problem I have with grandchildren actually is when you're in the project view, you can't see them.
In Halo, to be clear, in Halo.
Yeah.
You don't have a problem with grandchildren in general, just in Halo.
Well, I don't know. My daughters are like 5 and 3. If I had grandchildren, I'd be massively.
Maybe your grandchildren. But
yeah, in general. Yeah.
In general.
No, I'm sticking to the high ground. I'm not into grandchildren. Just don't. No.
Okay. Sorry. What's your problem with grandchildren in Halo?
In projects, when you've got tasks, you can't see the children tasks.
Yes, you can.
Grandchild.
Yes, you can. We haven't got to that release yet, but you can.
Oh, is it coming? Is it?
It's already out. It's
Well,
out.
so to understand this,
We haven't got to that release version
No.
yet to discuss it.
not everyone's on stable yet. Renada is still on the old build path still. It's not been rolled out globally, this new stable yet.
Okay, that's fine. But
That's why we
you
haven't
will
even
get
seen it yet.
shortly.
I'm like in the future. I'm living like what's going to become. Where am I going
You
to
will
be?
get it eventually.
Oh, that makes things. The Reddit post the other day about projects that you was, I think you tagged us in
Here.
and mentioned it in. I was going to do a video on it. Every time I go to do a video on updated projects, like the next version has like a new thing, which is like, oh, I don't want to do a video yet because like there's a new thing coming. And then I go to do it and I'm like, nope, there's a new thing coming.
See this button?
You can now do that. You see, you can never do that before.
But that's only one thing, right? Oh, yes. Let me show you that too real quick before we run out of time, because that's also super important. But we'll get to that in a moment. The other thing that we can do is on the column profile, we can now, and I wouldn't recommend doing this, there's going to be a miscellaneous section, which you can include children. This is a little bit ugly or whatever.
Yeah, it gets a bit noisy, doesn't it?
It gets a bit noisy. Don't do both. I would keep this off and just use this, which makes it better. And there's going to be a setting coming that'll turn this on by default. So
That's handy.
Very handy. As far as the question that came
now
up for simple step
flexible.
solutions, this eye will take you directly to the documentation of that setting, whatever that documentation means. So in some cases it's helpful, some cases it's not helpful. Where you go to turn that on is under Configuration, Advanced Settings, and it's going to be a Show KB Guide link against each setting where available. So you can turn that on under Advanced, and that'll give you that eye. I personally hate it because it just clutters my screen, but it's helpful to turn on if you need the documentation. Not a silly question at all.
There's no such thing as a silly question.
Sorry, we were talking about projects and grandchildren.
I'm trying to. So the problem, you probably have the same thing, right? And for everyone watching is, you kind of get, especially me, right? You kind of come up with a way of, this is how we work as a company, right? It's what we recommend to our clients. This is like the best way to use Halo. Don't use grandchild tickets, was like our methodology before, because of the problems you run into. You lose visibility of them. They're a bit of a nightmare. And then a slight change comes to Halo where you can now view them, which makes you rethink how you approach your build, right? Mm-hmm. So I used to, at one stage, build grandchild tickets in. We'd have like set up tooling as an MSP as a project task. And under it could be, I don't know, Ninja, Hoodoo, Halo, whatever, right? As child tasks. The problem is in a project view, you would lose a visibility. So we say now as a kind of global rule, don't have grandchild tasks because from a PM standpoint, it's really hard to keep track of it. Now this eyes came in there and now that you can see them, you can now, I have to then, this is what keeps me up at night, is I now have to rethink about what is the best way to actually build Halo now, right? And every release I have this, every stable I have this, which is, it now makes this viable. The running joke around my sandbox I built 3 years ago, right, with the custom field categorization was because at the time, that was the best way to achieve that outcome. Well, now you can filter ticket type on actions and you've got the ticket rule outcome. So the build path iterationally develops and changes over time. What we built 3 years ago, we would not build the same way today because of changes, right? That's kind of the whole fun of it. So yeah, I'm going to sit and ponder now for the rest of my day around how do I now structure projects? What is the best way? I don't know. I find it really enjoyable. I don't know about you guys. I like the constant evolution. I was chatting to someone the other day actually who works in sales. Like the worst thing about IT kind of is it's always changing. I was like, that's the best thing about IT, baby. Like I love every week there might be a new thing. And that's probably why Halo appeals to me so much to my horrific brain, is that every week there's like a new thing I've got to go and learn. So yeah, it's quite fun. But we are nearly on time. Today was not the most exciting release note.
Sorry, I think we Connor will do better next time.
I think we finished strong.
Let me peek into next week. Let's have a look on week after
so
2.192.
While you're peeking, next week will be 2.192. It'll be August 5th, and that'll be Robbie will be actually doing it. So yeah.
I'm on holiday, unfortunately, so I cannot make it. Although looking at 2.192, I'm not sure I'm missing much. It's going to be a heavy one.
Thanks a lot, Robbie.
We want them to come back. We want them to come back. Come on, Connor.
I think there's actually some interesting things there. Actually, yeah, there are some interesting stuff.
You can cover that as well.
And we'll also cover Robbie's quick ticket application that he's made to help people put in tickets to Halo.
Is that secure
There's
now?
also AI improvements. There's AI improvements to the 2.192. I think I'm on the
Okay.
right version.
So we've got some
we
interesting
can
things
look
that we'll
at
talk
AI
about
next
next time, despite Connor's sentiments.
Besides, it's me and Robbie. Like, we'll always have fun.
You will all have a fantastic time.
I'm going to spend like half the time trying to pitch Robbie to join Rising Tide.
That's fine. And
Yeah,
on that note, Buy the Runbook won't be happening anymore. So have a beautiful day, everybody. It's been an absolute pleasure as always. I've been Connor from Renada. Thank you for Mendy and Al for inviting me along. I will peace out. Goodbye, everybody. Have a great day.